Before the original Bionicle, there were two technical sub-themes, Slicer and Roboriders. This will be on the Roboriders, which came out and ended in 2000 between the Slicer and Bionicle. It's the first unique technical sub-theme, with just about all of them being in the style of motorcycle. Now the story is somewhere in cyberspace, before it got affected by the memes. Lived an unnamed species on a world with 6 different regions: dust, ice, lava, power, swamp, and stone. By imagination, no, not that stone. But a mysterious enemy arrived who is unleashing a virus across their world. To counter the virus, the species created wheel-shaped armor for themselves and 6 motorcycle-like machines called Roboriders to travel in. The Roboriders could fire elemental blast by launching their riders. Wait, what? Yeah, that's a real good idea. Throwing yourself into the virus, unknowing how long the armor could last. Also pretty sure that the Roborider would be useless after launching. It's pretty obvious that there wasn't much to any put into the story. But unlike a Slicer with what happened in the story being unknown, the Roboriders vanquished the virus and saved their world. And who the boss was in the story was unknown. He could be either the leader or the enemy who unleashed the virus. I believe that he is the villain of the story. A YouTuber by the name The Brick Theorist made a good video about why the boss could be the villain. Before getting onto the sets, gonna get the 4 promos out of the way. However, I do not have them and unable to get them, especially the green one. But it's not gonna stop me from talking about those. All these little things are unique to each other. Besides, for one of them, they aren't in the style of a motorcycle. But they are really ugly looking, though it's expected. But it does have their own function / gimmick. Yellow changing angles, red suspension, green nothing, and white. But onto the sets. There are 6 $6 sets in canisters and 1 $20 set. All of them basically have lazy names, with a tiny exception of Onyx being named after a gemstone. The printing all of them have are really great looking. I like that 4 of them has pupils, but I really hate that all of them besides for the boss have their name on their printings. Oh, this guy name is Lava? I thought it was Big the Cat. All of them uses either these 3 for the core design of the cycle, with Frost being the only one reusing the Slicer torso. Frost, Boss, Onyx, and Power uses the same angle changing function as the Slicer City, but with suspensions. They also use this piece to hold the back wheel, which is a nice piece and I wish LEGO would still use this. Now Swamp, Lava, and Dust have their own gimmicks. Lava is pinching this back part of it and pushing it back and forth for the axis. Swamp is disappointing. You grab the back part of the wheels and do the same thing. However, it works differently since it have rubber bands, having it going back to its normal position. Now the problem is that pushing it forward is random of wanting to work with you. Also, it have suspensions. Dust, you push it down and it just pokes its spear things. Now the throwing gimmick all of them have, you push or grab the front wheel forward, not all the way, just enough to open these 2 sides. Lift the front part back, then fire. The instruction explains it better, okay? It's a pretty nice gimmick, but honestly, the throwing disc is more superior than the wheel. The gimmick that only the boss have in this is that his 6-wheel form
Whoa, he split!
into 3, and the bike/flying form can have these 2
Whoa, he split!
into 2. This form can also spread its wing things by using the angle changing function, and it doesn't have the throwing wheel gimmick. Now for the design of the sets. The main 6 are pretty ugly, though is expected with the limitation of parts back then. But their color scheme isn't bad, plus Frost and Lava is pretty much the only good ones of this whole group. Despite that they both have that flat spot on the back of their heads, they're very nicely designed and doesn't have their heads sticking out like dust and onyx. Though the designers did a great job of making them very different from one another. Power even have arms and Onyx have these lasers on the side. Not to mention that Onyx have a glow in the dark wheels. Also, half of the sets have 3 wheels, while the other half have 2. I like that Frost and Onyx have a piece on their back, sure to make them not fall to the side. But odd that Power doesn't have one. I guess the arms are meant to be used to keep him from falling. Now moving on to the boss. The set is a 2-in-1 build, and so I'm going to start with my favorite of the 2 builds first, which is the 6-wheel build. Obviously you can see it's on a 3, but when holding it down while moving will turn the other wheels. Now, a sad thing about this, while it's my favorite of the 2 builds, and it looks amazing when looking at it from this angle. However, when you look at it from the front, it's welcoming you to eyesore hell. I mean, it's great and beautiful looking with nice stickers and printings, but the front is where it just want to destroy what you love about it. It look like some Technic panels could save the day for this. However, when it splits to its drones, the drones are amazing looking, better than the $6 sets besides from Frost. But there's no possible way to make the boss good without those. Granted, he isn't bad as the other Roboriders and isn't good as Frost. But those Technic bits are a bleeding eyesore, and removing those, the axles are just taunting you. So I heavily recommend keeping those drones on it and facing it away that you are not looking at the front. Now for the flying boss build, which this one has extra parts. Least it isn't as much as the Slicers 2-in-1. But both of them have one of the build being very ugly. Well, these 2 together is the bike by itself as well, but the flying boss is pretty good by itself. The wing things not being separate looks a lot better than being separate, though I do like the different use of that Roborider's torso. As with the bike looks bland and unfinished without the boss, there's nothing that makes it good, even a lack of orange to make it shine next to the flying boss. With the 2 together, it's basically just the boss sitting on top of the bike, so there's nothing different with the 2 together since it doesn't do any changes. Overall, they definitely don't hold up compared to Slicer and Bionicle on pretty much everything. I only recommend getting Frost, Lava, and the boss in the 6-wheel build. If you manage to get the canisters, you can do more with them instead of breaking it around like a special ed child. You can put the sets in them and use the lids for the combiners. These sets gets a couple of reels.